And you know how he could shoot the puck, right? He'd get so he could not. Now, you may think this is horse manure, but he could not get the puck off the ice halfway up the boards. And he'd come to me crying, Robert, what's the matter with me? I said, okay, Dennis, try that. I never tried to tell him how to play. Yeah. I said, try this and try that. I said, you're trying to overpower the puck. I said, try finessing it for a change. So away he goes and starts finessing the puck, and all of a sudden it's going over the boards and over the glass again. But he just could not critique himself. You have to be able to look at yourself and say, when you're not scoring goals, if you're a goal scorer, or not assisting when you're a playmaker, you've got to say, what am I doing wrong? And then you just go right back to the start of things and start working harder. That's all it takes. Hard work. I've never been able to get anything out of life except for hard work. And I'm sure I speak on behalf of so many of you people out there.
Everyone up here has won a Stanley Cup. Obviously, they've had tremendous individual awards. When you guys, Patrick, watch other great players in the league, whether it's like Ovechkin or Thornton, and you see them get to a stage where they're not able to hoist the cup, is that a reminder to you that, great players don't win the Stanley Cup, great teams win the Stanley Cup?
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it. I mean, you look at, like you said, those two big names right there, Ovechkin and Thornton. I mean, Joe Thornton has scored so many points in this league and hasn't been able to win a Stanley Cup. So I think, it comes, as these guys have been saying too, it comes as a team effort. You need to have players step up in big situations. You obviously need that clutch factor. But, I remember I've had a bunch of draft questions today because, the 2017 draft is going to be held in Chicago. And, yeah, it's great. It's great for the city. I mean, it's well-deserved, too, but it's going to be one of those things where I've kind of looked back on when I was drafted in 2007. I didn't care where I was getting drafted. I was just, happy I was coming into the NHL and was hoping to go as high as I could. But, what a blessing to come into an organization like the Blackhawks with so much history, so many pieces in place at that point in time when I was picked, to make a very solid hockey team. Obviously there were guys like, Sharpie was here, Dunks was here, Siebes was here, Taser was drafted, I was drafted the next year. So we had that core in place right there, ready to go, and there wasn't too much pressure on one person to come in and be the hero and try and take over games. And I think if you look at our Stanley Cup runs, throughout the whole playoffs, you have different players step up in different situations, and it seems like when you're winning and you're going on those runs, it's someone else's turn on any given night in each game. So you're always looking forward to that time when it's your turn and you want to step up when you're counted on. But like you said, Pat, it's a team game. It's a team game. These guys have set it up here as well, and you're just a little piece of that puzzle that's trying to make the team better.
And Steve, you were part of that in New York. Take us through just you talk about some great players on that team, but some tremendous role players as well that eventually pushed you to the finish line.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just like Patrick said, we had experience. Guys like Mark Messick, Kevin Lowe, Craig McTavish, Jeff Bukaboom. Guys that had been there and won the multiple Stanley Cups in Edmonton. But what pushed our team was our depth, and our third and our fourth line is what won us championships. So we
had some guys from Chicago that were on that team, including myself and Brian Noonan, Mike Hudson, Greg Gilbert, Stefan Matteau, that had played here for years too. So we had 4 strong lines, we had 6 really good defensemen, and strong goaltending. And at different times in different series, it was different guys that stepped up and got the job done. So it was coming later in my career, it was much more appreciated. So I think when you come into the league early in your career, you think you're going to have multiple chances to win the Stanley Cup. And those years in Chicago, we always seemed to lose to the team that went to the finals, whether it was Edmonton for many years or Calgary or Minnesota. So it was nice to finally get that chance and finish it.
Tony, your thoughts on international play, whether it's the Olympics, we've got the World Cup of Hockey coming up in Toronto in September. How important do you think it is to the game of hockey to have international competition?
Well, I think it's a good thing, but I don't think it's a good thing for the Blackhawks, because we're going to have players playing in that tournament, and it gets to be a long, long season. And the emotions of playing in a tournament like that, especially in Canada, affects these guys tremendously. And they got to come up in the summer now and perform. And then you got a long season, and then you got the second season, which is the playoffs, which is, I think everybody just tries to get into playoffs and then fight for the cup. But I'm just worried about some of our guys being tired. And I think it's good for hockey. I don't know. I guess it's a pretty good payday for the league and everybody. So can't be all that bad, I guess. But I just want these guys. I want Blackhawk players to excel and be the difference in the tournament, and they win it all. And Patrick's going to know the kind of pressure he's going to feel, because he lives in Buffalo. That was his home, and he's right in Toronto, right up the road, and they put undue pressure on you in a Canadian city like that. But I think we'll do fine, but I don't even know how many games it's going to be. How many games is it?
It's 8 teams?
I think the best part of this series coming up will be the 2 guys that are doing the color. Brett Holland, Chris Chelios.
There you go. Tony brings up an interesting point that, especially in the Olympic years, it comes middle of the season, late into the season. Now, this World Cup is at the very beginning of the season. How does that affect how you ramp up your off-season training so that you really are in championship form in mid-September?
Yeah, I know for Team USA, we report to a training camp, which is probably about almost 2 weeks long, heading into the tournament. So I think you basically take it like it's 2 weeks earlier, and you're headed into training camp like you would with the Blackhawks, and you have a couple weeks to get ready there for the season. But just a little bit earlier, I think. The good thing about this tournament is, everyone's going to be rested, everyone's going to be refreshed. There's really no crazy travel like there would be, over to Russia in the 2014 Olympics. You're going up to Toronto, hockey hotbed, and there's going to be so much attention on the tournament, especially in the hockey world. It's going to be really exciting. I think everyone's going to be watching it. So, as an American player, I'm honored to represent the United States. And it'll be fun to face a lot of different teams, play in international competition at maybe one of the highest stages of hockey you'll ever play. So just looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great couple weeks, and then we'll get back and enjoy our time here. I remember in 2010, though, we were playing Canada in the gold medal game, and lined up next to Duncan Keith at the face-off, and we'd be all much serious and into this big gold medal game at the Olympics. We just kind of looked at each other and didn't say a word, just started laughing. And puck dropped and we went on and played the game. So, it's weird playing against your teammates. It's weird playing against your friends, but at the same time, it's another challenge for us too.
Bobby, we lost some sports giants this summer. Muhammad Ali and Gordie Howe. You wore number 9 because of your hockey idol, Gordie. Your thoughts on the passing of Mr. Hockey?
Just to correct you, Pat, I did not wear number 9 just because of Gordon Howe. If you would like, if we have a few minutes,
Sure.
I'll tell you exactly how it happened. 1957, when I broke in, they threw me a jersey. I looked at the back of it, and it said 16 on it. And I was a little bit like Patrick. When he was drafted, he didn't care where he was playing. He was in the National Hockey League. And I didn't care where I was playing or what number I had. I was in the National Hockey League. I had made a boyhood dream come true to play in the National League. And I can't remember when I was a kid growing up that I dreamed of anything except I was going to get old enough or big enough to play in the National Hockey League. And it happened in 1957. They threw me that jersey, and I didn't care what number was on the back of it, because when I was going this way, it was going that way. I played from 1957 to the middle of the 61-62 season with 16. I got off to a horrendous start in the 61 season. I only had 13 goals in the first half of the year when there were 70 games, and that would be 13 goals in 35 games. And I said to Brett's mother, what's her name? Anyhow, I said to her, I said, either I've got the big C, or it's this GD, this old swayback bed we'd rented from an elderly couple. And I said, I think it's the bed. And at that same time, our trainer, Gunzo, said you need a change of luck. Here's number 7. When I knew it was the bed, I went to the wood yard, where you get plywood.
Okay. Lumber yard?
What is it then?
Lumber yard.
What is it?
Lumber yard.
Lumber yard, thank you. See, when you get 77, it'll happen to you all if you ever get there. I went to the lumber yard and got a 3/4-inch piece of 4x6 plywood and put it underneath that mattress. The first morning I woke up, I was rested. I went down to the old building across the street here. I had jump in my stride, and in the next 35 games, I scored 37 goals with number 7, and I happened to have 7 on when I scored 50 for the first time. Well, now it's 2 years later, and I come to training camp, and first exhibition game, I go to put on number 7. And when I looked at the jersey, and I flopped it over to throw it over my head, here number 9 was hanging in my locker. And I said, Gonzo, what the hell are you doing to me? I was just getting used to 7. And I don't say this to be a braggart. He came over to me and he said in front of me, he said,